All right, good morning, everyone. We are back. We got Justin Cambra with us today, but we're gonna jump right into it. He only has about half an hour today, so morning, Justin. How you been?
Doing good, man. Excellent. Life is good because got right now agent business has been really good. A lot of clients, a lot of listings
All right,
live.
good morning, everyone. We are back. Yeah,
The
so
Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say yeah, we had Monica on the other week, part of your team, and
Uh-huh.
she was telling us yeah how many listings you guys have. So that's awesome.
Yeah, the my only struggle is probably like with all people that are in the building flips and development space is permitting and contractor timing. So we ran into an issue this last week again on my never-ending project in
That
Tacoma.
that seems like everywhere right now, right? So,
Yeah.
but it's good to be busy, right? But you've been kind of a regular the past month or so. Every other week we're trying to do this, but I think Thatch also spoke in Zuber School Community the other week, and I know he does have a course and program, and I know you're a big part of that. And I think
Yes.
a lot of people have reached out and they're kind of have some questions and maybe your thoughts. And you've even mentioned to me other programs and courses that you've been a part of. So maybe touch on that and your thoughts on it, experiences, and what programs have you been a part of?
Gosh, I was the when we talked about this last week prepping for this call, I was starting to jog my memory because when I started investing was 2016 and I was doing, I'm actually wearing a bigger pocket. So I was doing a lot of YouTube University to start with, right? And learning as I was going on my own with local meetups. And then it was probably around 2018, 2019 when I was like, well, how can I go faster? And then I started getting into the Tony Robbins um, uh, personal development space, right? And the biggest thing I took away from I went to a thing called Date with Destiny, or not Date with Destiny, but Unleash the Power Within. And he was talking about, basically you go pay for these courses and get the cheat code and just copy them, and you can, really just shorten that learning curve and learn from others people's wisdom and more importantly mistakes so you don't make them. So in 2019, I think is when I did my first outside of like the regular conferences that are 500 to 1,000. I did my first big um, educational course where it was like a 6 month program, and I want to say it was 19,000 plus 5K, something like that for marketing. It was a wholesaling course, and I did that one. It took me about, gosh, 9 months to actually get my first deal, off market wholesale deal closed. So, which, before that I'd been trying, I hadn't had much success, um, consistently doing it. So that was my very first one back. I think it was 2019, and it was a wholesaling course. Since then, I've done David Green Mastermind. I think I was in there for like a year, maybe a year and a half, something like that. And then I did the Thatch one. I want to say at the end of 2019, so November 2019, right before COVID happened, I think it was. And I've been in that one like 5 years now. What else have I been in?
And that one, you're a coach though now, right? You're part of
Yeah,
that program or from you're helping people that come in and onboard them and whatnot, right?
exactly. Depending on what they sign up for. If they want more one-on-one coaching, there's probably like, I want to say at least 10 of us that are coaching to help them. Really, it's out of the gate starting, the first 4 sessions to help them get onboarded. Then you can do more if you want outside of that. So, and that's like the new model that he's working on. But yeah, I've been in that program, two different, or actually three facets. One, I was the beginner into the course. Then two, I went to what's called the inner circle, which is like it sounds, you're working with him in his inner circle. So you have the weekly meetings with him, and then actually it's trimester, so 3 times a year in person meetups. And I did that inner circle for 2 years, and then I'm back in kind of what you call the regular one right now. And then my third phase has been the helping support, pay it forward to other new members that are in there. And then, like today, actually, there's a call where I'll be leading out what we call breakout sessions where Typically, it's creative financing or out of state investing, whatever they need help on. I'll chip in, and usually it's 3 out of the 4 weeks of the month. I'm doing some sort of helping out with that.
Awesome. I just want to say good morning to a lot of people tuning in. We did have a fun one yesterday. I don't know if you heard, but we were giving away a lot of prizes for me hitting 1,000 subscribers. So I wanted to show support to everyone. Hyder is here, and he was the winner of the VIP ticket for the ORAD event. We also gave away a general admission ticket. But yeah, I see Jeff here. Big Val is tuning in. Flavio from Grandview, Washington, and Flavio. I believe he reached out to you after one of the last times you were on, and a lot of people I think maybe have questions on what kind of value can they get from joining Thatcher's course. So it seems like, is that the only one you're really a part of now? You're
Yes,
not
in terms of activeness, yes.
yeah.
So the biggest thing that you can get out now, I'm going to talk about Thatch course, but this is with all courses, right? Where the more people that are in it, the more benefit you can have from it. I don't know how many are in there, but you know, hundreds, if not thousands, are in this course, and it's all not just obviously there's a big chunk of people that are in Seattle. He lives here, right? But there's people all over the nation. There's different regions, and then there's meetups in different regions. So if you guys are friends or followers, I should say, of Pace Morby, they have their squad up and local meetups all over the U.S. as well. So the biggest thing to get out of it is showing up, being a participant, obviously taking the course content, but then interacting with all the different members. And it can be as simple as just progressing with other people and sharing your experiences, or some people, I'd say more so on the Pace Morby one, they call it squad up, and you'll see a lot of people end up becoming partners. One's kind of the money guy, one does the finance, or one's the project manager. There's multiple ways to interact with these courses, but the ones that have, they typically all have an online thing to educate. Then they have a in-person meetups, and then there's usually like a weekly where the leader of the group is giving the message for the week, the month, or however frequent that they do it. So the biggest thing is showing up, being active, getting the message from the main source, and then participating with all the other students that are in the course.
I think you touched on it, but Hyder says paying for mentorship is just fine. Paying for and not utilizing it is the big problem.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And most people that because there's, um, not everyone's going to be happy. Typically, it's the people who signed up for it and are like, what did I get out of it? The question should be, what did I put in to get out of it? Obviously, you put money into it, right? But the interaction, asking questions, and even for me, like I'm shy on some of these where I'm not always raising my hand and asking. So if you're going in and asking your questions and getting them solved, or asking it to other people in the community, that's where the biggest value add is going to be, because that's the fastest way to learn. Back to my original point is, how do you shorten that learning curve? You have to do the work, talk to the people, take action, learn from it, rinse and repeat.
Like how should someone decide if mentorship is a right fit for them, or like how did you decide on which ones to take part in?
So all the ones that I've taken part in, I guess I've never done one where I didn't really like know the person. So like, for example, like the first one I signed up on wholesaling, like I met them at a couple different conferences and saw their career progressing. They were good in what they were already doing, and I wanted to mimic what they were doing. So that's how I ended up making the decision. Thatch, I knew him through the different meetups and the local thing, and I one of there's a guy named Tarl Yarber. He was big in this area, and he was in Thatch's course, and he obviously, for the people that know him, he's done super well. He has his own course as well on flipping and contractor management. So yeah, that I pretty much have known all the people that have done. Um, if you don't know any of the people and you're looking to get into it, the best way is try to talk to somebody who's already in it, or you can do that by kind of connecting with your friend group. If you're in a local investor meetup, you know, a lot of times these people are already in there. But if you're not in the local meetup, these bigger ones have sales teams, so they're going to try to sell you on the course, right? So then you can see if they have people that are in the course, talk to them, get their feedback on it, and then that should help you figure out, is it a good move for you or not. Um, and before you even do that, make sure like we were talking about, you have the money, like you're not betting the farm, because some of these can be 20, 30,000, right? So make sure you have the money for it, but then make sure you have the time commitment to when you do sign up for it, you're going to maximize the impact of it.
That leads me into my next question. So let's say you did have maybe, like you said, 20, 30,000 right now. Would
Mhm.
you be joining a course, you think, if you were starting over, or would you kind of be taking in the free YouTube information, YouTube University, and kind of, networking on your own and possibly finding your own deals or whatnot? So which direction would you think you would go if you were starting over?
If I started over, I would do the YouTube University step one. Like, there's so much you don't know, right? Now, yeah, assuming if you have unlimited money, jump in right away, go right to the course, right? Do the shortcut. But for a lot of people, they don't know what they don't know yet. So do the YouTube University, and like, try to help figure out all the what I call the 101 level, the basic stuff. So like, do I want to do flips? Do I want to do wholesale? Do I have the money to buy rentals, or do I need to do flips to generate the money? Do I want to do in state? Do I want to do out of state? Do I have friends that are already doing it? Can I go to local meetups? If you do a lot of that low level stuff, the when you do spend the money, you're going to get more out of it, because typically these ones are time bound, right? So like, a lot of them, some may be lifetime, some may be annual. So if it's a one where it's annual, you'll want to make sure that you're getting, when you start that course, you have enough existing knowledge to maximize that 1 year that you're in the course.
So all the people that kind of reach out to you now, possibly joining Thatcher's course and whatnot, is there like a common thing that maybe you see them, like a misconception, or they all get something wrong, or they're all looking for a certain value that you think is just the wrong way to go about it?
Wrong with it.
Like, are they expect
Um,
like each one that reaches out to you, is there kind of like almost like this expectation, like as if I join this course, I should be getting this out of it, I guess?
Yeah, whether it's we're talking a lot about that course, which I'm a big fan of. A lot of people are like, what am I going to get out of it, right? And a lot of times, the people that are really successful are the ones that it's like all nighter hider, right? So like I mean, he's probably a net giver, right? The money shows up, he moderates. So then he ends up getting on, like, I mean, case in point, what are the odds that he's the one that ends up winning the VIP ticket, right? So, I mean, that's the people who are joining and trying to learn and then trying to help the community. Those are the ones that do really well. So the thought of being a what I'd call a net taker, like give, or I mean take versus kind of this give and take. Those are the ones that are probably going to run into more of the issues, because um, yes, you get a lot out of whoever is leading it, the Paces, the Tarls, and the Thatches, but the surrounding community is where you can get a lot, sometimes even more. Because I go back to the David Green Mastermind. Some of the people that I met in there, still in connected with today, even though we're not in the mastermind anymore. So those are the relationships you build, and all of us are in this like cohort of growing together. Like one, like I'd love to see who has a course as well, is David F.I.R.E from Military to Millionaire. So he was just getting into investing at the time, and to see his progression, and he's taken off in his career. So yes, you can get a lot out of it, but if you the misconception would be is just thinking as it from taking versus, hey, what can I what can I also provide to then help me get there faster? So, and I think probably what I've seen, I know that's a mentorship called Springboard to Wealth. They do a good job of it. From the what I know of, and I've gone to some of the meetups with Pace Morby's group. They do, I'd probably say even more so because they're so they had their motto, I think, is like strength through community or something, something like that. Cooperation over competition, I think, is what it might be. So they do a huge amount of interacting, and it's amazing how many of the people I know in there are actively doing deals with each other or other people all the time, and they're maxing their impact.
Yeah, you kind of touched on Pace's sub two community, and I know Zuber's been kind of mentioning it too, because Pace was live in the school community on Sunday, and the tickets are on sale for the ORAD event, and there's a somewhat concern that once that gets out there to the sub two community, that these tickets are going to sell very quickly. So those of you that have not, definitely I would really consider getting your tickets now. Early. I waited to the last minute last year, but I think with Pace's community, I mean, definitely I can see it selling out very quickly. But even that, like you said, Thatch was a speaker the other week in the school community, and yes, very, very motivational. And he touched on, are you interested or committed? I don't know if he talks to you guys a lot about that, but that was very eye opening. But Troy is here. Troy says, yeah, I'm juggling wholesaling, but I definitely want to start doing flips in our area, Justin, to generate the capital for next long term purchase.
Hmm.
Yeah, so maybe you guys can work something out together. See, like you said, networking, right? So I think that's a big thing, right? Is just so even like me, I was in this mastermind course, and I didn't really the the person who was under the head person. I didn't really connect with him too well after, as far as just maybe just personality wise or whatever. But it was the other people that were a part of it. Those are the ones that I've kind of stayed in contact with after leaving that group. So there's always something to take away from these courses or programs that you do join. Let's see.
You were in sub two.
No, not oh, I am in sub two, but
Yeah.
I'm not very active in there. It's just more like you said, just more to connect with people. And it's great information. It definitely is. It's just I definitely I do see a difference between like the sub two community and what Zuber's building, right? Kind of that kind of one rental at a time mentality. So, but it is definitely great information, and you just see like you're in sub two, but your hands in a lot of different areas too, right? Like doing the DADU and whatnot in your area. So it's good to just you never know who's going to have money or who's going to have a deal or someone you're going to have to connect with, right?
Yeah, I'm not in sub two. I've thought about joining it multiple times because I'm a big fan of seller financing, right? And from what I understand, the content and live real world examples is pretty amazing in there. So I've been thinking about doing it, but I haven't actually signed up. But friends of mine are in it, so sometimes they'll invite me, or I've presented at the Sub Two meetup in the past. So definitely affiliated, but I've never officially signed up for it.
Yeah, and talking about seller finance and whatnot. So those of you, just reminder, tomorrow Cody Davis will be on. So Cody Davis will be on for his first time. So you definitely a lot of people know his story, a lot of seller finance deals and whatnot. But he will be on talking about maybe the struggles and in the beginning of his journey. But let's see what else we got today. Yeah, as far as like coaching and mentorship and whatnot, what I guess why do but what I think the biggest thing is a lot of people just they're so hesitant. They think it's a scam. Do you see that a lot? Like why or any experience with people reaching out to you like they think it's a scam in a sense?
Well, I think some people are like, "Man, it's not cheap, right?" Like if you, I mean, with inflation, it's expensive, right? So, a lot of these courses are pretty expensive, right? They have a comma in them versus no comma, right? So, thousands of dollars, not hundreds of dollars, except for Zuber's course. I think it's like $20 a day or $20 a month or something, right?
for school, but
Yeah.
his course that he's had, I believe it might have went up a little, like you said, inflation. It might be what, 399 now for that course he had, but
Yep.
yeah.
So yeah, uh they can get pretty expensive.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me, and you kind of touched on it, Hyder touched on it, it's really the effort you're gonna put in, and it is. I mean, that's just kind of anything in life, right? It's what effort you're gonna put in, and nothing's gonna be given to you. As far as what Thatch's program has, is there, I guess, other resources that come along with it? Like, are you like in contact with his lenders, or what else can you get from that program?
So in this program, and this is what I hear about PACES as well, is that there's a community of people. So now it's all actually web and app based. So like um, they have multiple regions. So like obviously there's Seattle region, the SoCal region, Texas region, Arizona. I don't know how many exactly off the top of my head, but north of 10. And so those resources are huge when, say, for example, let's use like an extreme, like let's just say you're in Florida and I want to say it's Miami area, and there's like a local Miami chapter, and then Thatch and Stephanie will fly around to these, at sometime in the year, and so doing those local meetups, that's where you're starting to get the value add. So let's just say I'm in Florida, I want to do a single family with the DADU. Well, there's other people that go to those meetups that are actively doing it, like and have done one or in the process of doing one. So then you can ask them, okay, well, then who did you do for surveying? And then that local group can help you. Because like if you're in Seattle, you could care less about Miami, like surveying, right? But if you're in Miami, you could care less about Seattle. So you have to start talking to the local people on who you can use. And so there's a lot of like sharing of for here, there's a lot of trees. And so when you're building, depending on which city you're in, trees can be an issue. So then you're like, well, who's the right arborist to help me that is gonna be able to, some of these take 3, 4 weeks to get somebody out. It's like, who can come out quickly, get a report done quickly, and not charge me an arm and a leg? So you'd be like, well, you can send out to the region and say, hey, I'm in Seattle, need a arborist, and need somebody in the next 2 weeks. Who do you recommend? And then they'll be like, people all chime in and say, hey, here's who I use, here's how much the cost is, or here's who I used and it did not go well. Some of that's even more important so that you don't use the wrong people. But these are local, um, regional based things. That's where you're going to start as you're doing the projects. Because typically in investing, whether you're self managing or a property manager, you're going to need contractors. And so that's where the value starts coming in, as you can connect with the other people who already use these people. Because like even with me, I run into problems all the time. And so it's like, okay, how can I crowdsource in these communities to be able to get the right person the first time?
Everyone, like I said, Justin probably has about 5 more minutes to go. He does have a property manager meeting coming up. So if you have any questions, throw it in the chat real quick. I do want to say I did see social media. You did post about your sidewalk to nowhere. I don't know how, if you want to give us an update on that you have to deal with in your, like you said, building and permits and meeting whatever your county's regulations are. So what's the progress on the sidewalk to nowhere going?
Yeah, it's a sore subject. So last week, the it's one of those like when you have a problem project and it keeps having problems. So the contractor didn't do the forms right, and so the finished curb and gutter didn't meet the county requirements. So it failed inspection. So they're trying to see if they can fix it. If not, they now have to rip out 200 feet of sidewalk and redo the sidewalk. What? Not there's. I'm learning. A sidewalk is not a sidewalk. So you have the curb and gutter, then the actual sidewalk that you walk on, and then there's the asphalt that connects to it. So they're on the first part, the curb and gutter. The curb and gutter didn't pass, and then the forms for the sidewalk they didn't pass. So yeah, they're definitely struggling, and so now we're trying to figure out, can you get it fixed? If not, you got to replace it. The question is if they're going to be, you know, able to replace it, or if we're going to have to bring somebody else in and then have to deal with that contractor another way. So I'm concerned that they're going to be able to get the project done, quite frankly, and that's the some of the problems you run into is like, and here's the thing: I have two friends that use them for similar projects, not specifically a sidewalk, but they did uh, groundwork for the similar projects, right? So it's like, man, you think you do the research, you talk to them, you get the quotes, and there's still no guarantee. You just run into some of these bad, unfortunate events.
Yeah, that's wild, man. Sorry to hear that, man. Sorry I brought that up. Now I feel bad.
Oh man, what I tell myself is like God's giving an opportunity to become a better investor, and the real estate clients and future partners that I work with, I'm getting my MBA in this stuff right now, so I'm paying my tuition to then be better for my own deals, for my clients' deals, and partnership deals as we move forward. So, if you're working with somebody, whether you're going to do a mentorship course or you're going to partner with somebody on a project, you want somebody who's been in the industry for a while, has obviously had success, but no one who's been in for a long time has been able to escape having problems with projects. So whether that's self-inflicted, some of mine are self-inflicted, or that's just a series of unfortunate events and timing and stuff like that. So you're going to want to work with these people. It's not necessarily a bad thing if they've had problems, because if they've had problems and are still in the business and growing, they've learned a massive amount from that. Case in point, there's the people that went bankrupt in 2008 who now have massive portfolios because they had to find out. They obviously learned whatever they did wrong in '08, probably over leverage, and then now they've restructured their business to where they're recession resistant.
Yeah, Hyder does say, man, wise word, great attitude. I don't know if you do have time to maybe answer this quick one. Troy says, is contractor going to replace on their dime if it's a full tear out?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, that's their fault. They didn't do the forms right. They didn't finish it right. The question is do they have money to do it? Typically a lot of these contractors are job to job, right? So like, if they take, I don't even know how much, because like I know how much the total bid was, but then of that part, I mean, maybe it's like 10. This could be like a 5 to 10K hit for them, which it's not like a huge operation, so that's a huge setback for them. So um, yeah, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to survive it, right? So, and I'm not going to give them more money because of this issue. So they've got to figure it out themselves, and because that's what I'm paying them for, is to uh, uh, do the scope of work to the specifications. If you don't do that, then you don't get paid.
Yeah, Jeff says MBA would cost a whole lot more. Everyone, yeah, thanks for tuning in. Sorry, this is kind of a short one. Justin does have a meeting. I messed up my calendar, so we got to move things around, but glad he was able to jump on for a little while. But we'll have him back on. We're trying to do maybe every other week or so. Like I said, tomorrow, Cody Davis will be here. And yeah, and Bill, if you are still here, all fired up. I'm not sure if Frank reached out to you, but you did win a prize yesterday, so I need your contact information, or Frank can take care of it directly with you. But yeah, any final words, Justin? If they want to reach out to you, where can they connect with you or whatnot?
Yep. Main one is on Instagram at 4JC Cambra, which is my last name, 4JC Cambra. You can also find me at W2 to Freedom on Instagram and W2 to Freedom on YouTube. One thing I was just thinking of, because you had Cody coming on, I'd love to you, me, and Cody on a call next week or 2 weeks where we're both in the same. Obviously, he's like 20 years younger than me, but we both went expansion route. Now we're re changing our portfolio strategy, and from what I understand of him, is kind of less is more, and having higher quality assets. I'd love to have that conversation with him of like the evolution of real estate investing and the different phases you're in, why you do it, and why you've changed to the new one. I think that'd be a great topic, one for the audience, but me personally, I'd love to compare my story with Cody to see if we're kind of in that same mindset.
Yeah, awesome, man. We'll definitely get down together. But everyone, thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you tomorrow. And like I said, Justin, thanks for doing this today. And yeah, we'll get you back on, man.
All right, sounds good.
All
See
right,
you guys.
thanks, man.
Bye.
Bye.